Tell me, why is it important to have a resource room for teachers?
It is important to have a resource room because we have extra materials stored for the teachers that they can change things out in their room and offer more focused learning in a theme or a unit. We also keep a lot of depletable supplies, paints and arts and crafts supplies that they can come in and use as needed. There's a place for them to work, a table for them to work on projects or things that they might not be able to do in their classroom. We try to stock our resource room every year with materials that they can use to cut out from magazines. There's cotton balls and Q-tips and all of those things that you might not think about, but they use on a daily basis. We save glue bottles and wash them out and refill them with a big jug to save money. Paint the same way. We buy the big bottles, but we refill to save money. This resource room has been a real blessing to the teachers since 2009 when we came in here. But before that, we utilized much smaller spaces. And same thing, just a place to store out of the classroom or away of things they're not using, and to keep our classrooms as clean and neat as possible.
One of the benefits of having a resource room as a center like this is if you're going to make a handprint butterfly, you would go exactly to where you would need to go. If you wanted to have purple paint, it is labeled purple paint, and you would go and get the necessities you needed to make a butterfly. If you were doing a lesson on underwater, you would come right over here to the underwater utensils that we have for this. Or if you were doing transportation, it's labeled here, transportation. If you were doing science, we have science right over here. Everything is labeled by our assistant director.
Yes, organization is extremely important in a resource room. We have been very fortunate to label every item and label the container that those items are kept in, and every time the teachers come in, they know exactly where things are and where to get them and then where to return them when they're finished. If they don't, they are able to put it on the counter and we will come in and help them find those places. But we've got it organized in such a way that most of the depletable supplies is on one side of the room and then the reusable material is on the other.
So this is our resource room, and this room has taken years of things getting collected. So what happens is if we have parents or different people in the community come and donate different toys or games, instead of always putting them straight in the classroom, we put them in our curriculum room. And then in our curriculum room, we have it sorted by theme. So we have a certain section for like farm animals, for instance, or we'll have a section for sea life. We also have a math and science section to go along with the curriculum themes. We use Elm, and so it's really good to bring in extra activities to enhance those lessons and make them fun and exciting for our children.
And I noticed that you have some computers in here.
Yes, we do have computers in this room as well, and our teachers get a couple of hours a week to come out of their classrooms and actually lesson plan in this room. So they make their lessons, and then while they're up here, they can pull resources from our curriculum room as well as our classroom library that we have next door in another room.
You have a beautiful library, but how do you go about getting the books if I'm just starting out?
Oh, there are so many ways that you can get books for your library. You can have book fairs. They're not as popular as they used to be, but they still work, especially for your libraries. Parents love to donate, and if you will ask for those books when it's time for parents to clean out at home, you will really get some good books. The books you cannot use, you can donate to others. You can go to garage sales, secondhand stores, the Dollar Tree. There are so many places that you can get books. The libraries a lot of times will give books away, as well as we go on Amazon when we want to get books, additional books for our library, because you can buy like new or medium condition or poor condition. So there's so many ways that you can get books for your library. Tell all your friends. Tell people at church. You will be surprised at the books you get. If you do not have a room for a library, it's okay. We have the Hidden Hills Learning Tree, and our library is in a very wide hallway, and it's very beautifully done, and the children can even sit around in a half circle while the teacher reads to them, and we use it as a library room and not just a library space.
You talk about the organization of it all. I see that you have labels, and you talked about them being color-coded.
We have a color-coded library instead of the Dewey Decimal System because we want at least our 4s and 5s to be able to use the library, and they do understand that animals, they learn the word animals, they do understand that the orange is all animals, different kinds of animals. We do have subtitles. They're not good at working with the subtitles, and that's okay. The teacher will work with them.
And that brings me to that, the checkout process.
The children with the teachers are scheduled to come in once a week. They can vary that if they wish to, just so that they come in once a week for storytelling as well as understanding a piece of the library. We do like for them to bring the book back the next day. If they don't, it's okay. As I said, they do not get to take new books out until they return their old books. That's how we get them back.
Okay. And I see that you have a parent library.
Yes, we do. When our parents ask for something special, we try very hard to get a book on that subject. It's very helpful to the parents. Of course, in the last year, our parents have not used it as much because everything's online. But it still helps us and some of the books in our preschool library with different adjustments and situations in their family.
Okay, just tell me, for another center wanting to set up a playground, what have you found that works and doesn't work?
We supervise everything here. We have teachers in every area of the playground, which is very important. Teachers should not stand together and talk. They should spread out to watch the children. That's the main thing for a playground, supervision.
The kids certainly love the playground.
They love the playground. The babies can even be crying. You take them outside, they love it. Every child needs to be outside if the weather's good. If it's too hot, give them water. If it's too hot, give them popsicles. We do that constantly during the summer. Children love popsicles. It doesn't have to be expensive. Parents donate popsicles for their classrooms. But you have to keep them hydrated during the summer. And during the winter, if it's too cold, you're out a few minutes and you go back inside. But they need to be outside. Maryland, that's it. We have riding toys, push toys, throwing toys. We have anything that they can come outside and do gross motor skills with.
What about safety in terms of toys and the different surfaces?
We have sand. We have 3 different surfaces. We have sand, grass, and concrete, cement. We have a riding trail for the bicycles. These are all development appropriate for their age group, for the size. We have certain bicycles that they can ride. We have little houses that they can go in to play with, which they really enjoy, but you really need to watch them because they can get in there and, have a few little biting accidents and things like that, so they really have to be supervised. This is our toddler playground here. We keep them inside the fence for a reason because we have sidewalks on the outside, and this is safer for them to walk around with just the grass and the sand. On the outside of the playground, from the toddler's playground, is the 2-year-old playground, and everything is completely fenced in. We have a doorknob up here that's high so the children can't reach it to get outside. We used to have it down here, but we moved it up for their safety. They're not allowed to get out of here without a teacher. We're an accredited center, so there's certain standards we have to go by when we choose toys, like for choking hazards and things like that. If we get something donated, we have to check it out and make sure it's good for our playground because we're all accredited and also for the safety.
What about equipping your playground? Can you count on donations?
You can't count on donations, but we do get a lot of donations. And when you can't count on them, then you have to be ready to buy what you need.
first we put it in the ground, but the bugs ate it all up. So that was not fun, the worms and the bugs and the rabbits. And so we had a nice spot between buildings. The sun is perfect, the rain is perfect. Some of it we do have to water more than others. And we decided this spring for the first time we would do a salsa garden. And the children would make their own salsa from everything that we planted. And it worked beautifully. We had cilantro and parsley, cherry tomatoes. The bigger tomatoes don't do well here, but the cherry tomatoes were amazing. We had the Bib lettuce. We had the green onions. We had everything we needed for a salsa garden. The children would come out in classes to water and to pick the different things as we could use them. One class at a time would make the salsa as each thing grew. And they just loved it. They just had a wonderful time. A lot of the children just wanted to eat the tomatoes as soon as we picked them, but we tried to save them for our salsa. This is the end of our season. We still have our carrots. They're going to be ready in another week or so. We're going to take the marigolds and pull the pods out so the children can see the seeds inside and compare it to a packet of seeds. We still have peppers growing. We don't know why, because they've been growing for months and months, but we use them. We also try to plant some flowers for beauty, as well as the children then can learn about flowers. They love the garden. They can hardly wait to come out and visit and see how it's grown and to water.
And it's definitely a learning tool.
Absolutely. And we do a lot of cooking projects here, so we really work hard to intertwine some of the food into our cooking projects.
What do you see?
Children are here to learn. We believe that learning begins in our infant room. We have a curriculum in our infant room that we utilize. We have lesson plans in our infant room that we utilize, and we move it all the way up, addressing all our birth to 5 standards in our infant room, and obviously the VPK standards in our VPK classrooms. But every single classroom from birth to VPK have lesson plans posted addressing the learning standards.
Yellow duck, what do you
How do you develop those lesson plans and those daily activities?
Again, writing your lesson plans are based on those birth to 5 standards or the VPK standards, and that really defines how the lesson plan should look, because you want to make sure that those standards are being addressed.
The next thing I want to ask you about is purchasing resources for my classroom if I'm just starting out.
You would purchase the resources through, we use Kaplan for a lot of our vendors, Discount School Supply, are great resources also for art materials. Again, funding for the big items like the furniture and that kind of thing, we used
Startup dollars maybe.
correct.
Okay.
As startup dollars. A lot of times we use our registration fees to purchase those staples like the mats that will, need to be replaced, items in the classroom. So we use our registration fees predominantly to replenish resources in the classroom. So curriculum items we purchased initially with our startup, again, using registration supply fee dollars to replenish curricula.
I got one. I grabbed it. I got it.
Parents are a great resource for getting items. If you ask them for gently used items, sometimes they'll bring us in things that their children really haven't used and look brand new. We've got parents that have brought us in items that were brand new that their children never even used. So parents are also a great resource for donating items.